The room is dark, and quiet, wrapped in the soft sound of rain. Outside the window, rain falls steadily, each drop gentle, each sound unhurried. Inside, nothing needs to move. Nothing needs to change. You are here, and that is enough. The darkness in the room is calm, not empty, but full of rest. The rain does not rush. It has nowhere to go. It simply falls, over and over, in a slow, comforting rhythm. You might imagine the walls of the room, still and solid, holding the warmth inside. The air is cool and quiet. The kind of quiet that feels safe. There is no music. No sudden sound. Only the steady rain. And the sound of your breathing. Take a moment to notice your breath. You do not need to change it. Just notice it. Breathing in, slowly. Breathing out, even more slowly. The rain outside continues, soft and constant, as if it is breathing with you. Each breath out, lets the body settle a little more. Your shoulders soften. Your jaw loosens. Your face relaxes. The room remains dark, but not heavy. The rain washes the world gently, leaving everything calm. Nothing is expected of you now. There is nothing you need to remember. Nothing you need to plan. The rain takes care of time. Each drop lands, then disappears, making space for the next. Thoughts may come, and thoughts may go. You do not need to follow them. Like the rain, you can let them pass. If your mind drifts, that is perfectly fine. Drifting is part of rest. The dark room holds you quietly, unchanging, steady. Outside, the rain continues its gentle work, softening the night. Inside, your breathing becomes slower, deeper, more natural. Breathing in and out. With each breath out, the body becomes heavier, resting into the surface beneath you. The rain does not ask anything of you. It simply exists. You can do the same. Just existing, in this quiet moment. The sound of rain fills the space, but never overwhelms it. It is even, predictable, safe. A steady background, allowing the mind to let go. If there are thoughts about the day, You can place them gently outside the room, where the rain will soften them. They do not need attention right now. The night is long. There is plenty of time for rest. Your breathing remains calm, unforced. The dark room stays exactly the same, minute after minute. Nothing changes. Nothing needs to. The rain continues to fall, soft and endless. And as you listen, your awareness can begin to fade. Slowly. Naturally. There is no need to stay alert. No need to stay awake. The rain will continue, whether you notice it or not. You can let go. The room remains quiet. The rain remains steady. And rest begins to take over, gently, without effort. The rain has been falling for a long time, and it will continue to fall, long after this moment has passed. There is no beginning to notice, and no end to wait for. Just the steady sound, layer after layer, softening the night. Inside the dark room, everything remains still. The walls do not move. The floor does not shift. The air itself feels settled, as if it has decided to rest. You may notice how little effort it takes to remain here. No need to adjust your body. No need to improve your position. No need to reach for comfort. Comfort is already present. The rain outside does not vary its pace. It does not hurry. It does not slow down. It simply continues, patient and consistent. You can allow your attention to rest within that consistency. No detail needs to be examined. No sound needs to be followed. Just the overall presence of rain, existing without purpose. Your breathing follows naturally. In and out. Each breath requires less awareness than the one before. The body understands this moment, without instruction. Muscles loosen on their own. The weight of the body settles downward, as if gently guided by gravity. The dark room remains unchanged, minute after minute. Nothing new enters the space. Nothing leaves. The rain keeps time, so you do not have to. If a thought appears, it can remain distant, like a light seen through rain-covered glass. You do not need to bring it closer. You do not need to push it away. It can stay where it is, blurred and unimportant. The rain continues. A soft, even sound, without rhythm to follow, without pattern to analyze. Just enough presence to occupy the background of awareness. your awareness itself can soften. There is no need to hold it steady. No need to stay focused. Drifting is allowed here. The dark room supports that drifting. The stillness does not demand attention. It does not ask for participation. It simply exists. Your breathing becomes quieter, almost unnoticed. The chest rises slightly, then settles back down. The shoulders remain heavy. The face stays relaxed. The rain outside seems farther away now. Not because it has faded, but because there is no need to listen closely. The sound continues, whether it is noticed or not. That knowledge alone allows the mind to loosen its grip. Nothing important is happening. Nothing is expected. This moment does not need to be remembered. The rain keeps falling, steady and calm. The room remains dark, safe and unchanged. And you can continue to rest here, without effort, without intention, allowing awareness to become softer, slower, and less defined. The rain continues outside, unchanged. Not louder. Not softer. Just the same steady presence. It feels as though it has always been falling, and that it will continue long after this moment fades. Inside the dark room, everything remains settled. There is no sense of movement here. No shifting of attention. No need to adjust. The air feels still, as if it has found a comfortable position, and decided to stay there. You may notice how easy it is to remain exactly as you are. Nothing asks you to move. Nothing asks you to think. The rain outside does not vary its rhythm. It does not surprise. It does not interrupt. Each sound blends smoothly into the next, forming a continuous background that asks for nothing. Your breathing continues naturally. In, out. There is no effort in it now. It happens on its own. The body feels heavier, not with pressure, but with rest. Gravity feels gentle here, supportive rather than pulling. The surface beneath you holds your weight evenly, without resistance. The dark room remains unchanged. Minute after minute, everything stays the same. There is no clock to watch. No time to measure. The rain takes care of time. If a thought appears, it does so quietly, without urgency. You do not need to examine it. You do not need to finish it. It can remain incomplete, soft around the edges, then dissolve. Like rain touching the ground, then disappearing. The room does not react to your awareness. It remains steady whether you notice it or not. The rain continues its quiet work outside, softening the night, without intention. Inside, your breathing becomes slower, almost imperceptible. The chest rises gently, then settles back down. The shoulders remain relaxed. The jaw stays loose. There is no tension asking for release. No signal calling for attention. The quiet feels wide and even. Not empty. Just calm. The darkness in the room feels safe. Not something to push against. Not something to escape. It simply surrounds, without pressure. The rain does not change direction. It does not hurry. It continues at its own pace, indifferent to being noticed. You are free to let your attention drift, without losing anything. There is nothing important happening now. Nothing that requires memory. This moment does not need to be saved. The body rests because it understands that there is nothing to respond to. Muscles remain loose, without instruction. The mind no longer searches. It no longer checks. Awareness becomes softer, less defined. Edges blur slightly. Not enough to disappear. Just enough to feel comfortable. The rain outside feels farther away. Not because it has faded, but because there is no need to listen closely. The sound remains, whether it is noticed or not. That knowledge alone allows the mind to loosen further. The room holds everything quietly. Without intention. Without care. Nothing changes suddenly. Nothing ends. The rain continues, steady and predictable. Inside, you remain at rest, supported by the stillness around you. There is no instruction here. No direction to follow. You can simply remain, allowing the quiet to continue, at its own pace. The rain remains exactly the same. There is no change in its rhythm. No variation to follow. It does not signal anything. It does not invite attention. It simply continues. Inside the room, the quiet feels settled, as if it has been here for a long time. Nothing feels new. Nothing feels unfinished. The air rests evenly around you. Not pressing. Not pulling. You do not need to adjust your position. The body already knows where to stay. Breathing happens slowly now, without intention. In, and out. Each breath completes itself, without asking to be noticed. The rain outside does not mark time. It does not divide moments. There is no before, no after. Only this steady continuation. If awareness drifts, it does so gently, without direction. There is nowhere it needs to go. The darkness in the room feels smooth, not heavy, not empty. It holds the space evenly, without corners or edges demanding focus. The body remains supported, as if the surface beneath you has adjusted perfectly. Nothing shifts. Nothing tightens. Muscles stay loose, without effort. The jaw remains soft. The shoulders rest naturally. There is no tension to release, because nothing has been held. The rain continues its quiet presence, unconcerned with being heard. It exists on its own, steady and unchanging. You do not need to follow it. You do not need to listen closely. Knowing that it will continue allows attention to loosen further. Thoughts, if they appear, remain incomplete. They do not develop. They do not connect. They pass through softly, like shadows without form. The room does not respond. It does not react. Everything remains as it is. The quiet feels wide, stable, unchanging. There is no expectation in this moment. No signal to respond to. Time feels less defined here, as if it has slowed, without stopping. The rain outside maintains its gentle consistency, carrying the night forward, without effort. Inside, the body remains still, supported by the sameness of the sound. Nothing asks you to stay awake. Nothing asks you to let go. You can simply remain within this steady balance. The room, the rain, and the quiet continue together. The rain continues, steady and unchanged. It no longer feels separate from the quiet inside the room. Sound and silence begin to overlap, as if they belong to the same layer. You do not need to listen anymore. The sound exists without effort. Awareness rests lightly. No longer scanning. No longer checking. The room feels deeper now. Not larger, but softer. Edges feel less defined. The darkness does not surround you. It blends. Breathing slows further. Not because you guide it, but because there is nothing else to respond to. In, and out. Each breath feels complete on its own. There is no sense of anticipation. No expectation of change. The rain does not suggest movement. It does not mark progress. It simply continues, and that sameness allows the mind to loosen. Thoughts become quieter, shorter, less formed. They do not connect to each other. They do not stay long enough to require attention. The body feels heavier now, not weighed down, but settled. Gravity feels constant, even, reliable. The surface beneath you holds everything without adjustment. Nothing needs to shift. The shoulders sink slightly, without instruction. The jaw remains loose, the face expressionless, resting. The quiet inside the room thickens gently, like air growing stiller, without becoming heavy. The rain outside remains present, but distant. Not quieter, just less relevant. Awareness drifts inward, not toward thought, but toward absence of effort. There is no need to follow anything. No need to decide. Time feels less important now, as if it has stepped aside. Moments no longer stack. They soften into each other. The room feels unchanged, minute after minute. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The rain continues its calm repetition, steady enough that the mind no longer tracks it. Sound becomes background, then less than background. It exists, but does not ask to be noticed. The body responds by resting more deeply. Muscles remain loose, without awareness. Breathing becomes quieter, slower, almost unnoticeable. The chest rises gently, then settles. There is no pause to count. No rhythm to follow. The dark room holds everything evenly, without contrast. Light, shadow, sound, and silence blend into one soft field. The mind stops searching for definition. There is nothing to clarify. Thoughts, if they appear, remain unfinished. They fade before forming meaning. Like shapes in low light, they dissolve on their own. The rain continues, steady and predictable. That predictability allows awareness to soften further. The body feels safe enough to let go of attention. There is no alertness left to maintain. No signal requiring response. The room does not change. The rain does not change. And because nothing changes, there is nothing to hold on to. Awareness becomes diffuse, spread thin, almost transparent. The sense of being present loosens. Not disappearing, just quieting. The rain outside continues its gentle pattern, carrying the night forward, without intention. Inside, Everything slows. Breathing, awareness, the sense of self. Nothing pulls focus. Nothing interrupts. The quiet deepens naturally, without direction. You do not need to stay aware of it. It continues, whether you notice or not. The rain continues. It remains exactly the same. There is no change in the sound, no rise, no fall. It stays even. The room stays still. Nothing shifts. Nothing responds. Breathing continues quietly. In, out. There is nothing to listen for. Nothing to notice. The sound exists, but it does not ask for attention. It remains where it is. The room remains where it is. The body stays where it is. Everything stays. Awareness does not move forward. It does not look back. It stays low. The rain continues. The sound remains steady. Nothing follows. Nothing leads. The body rests without instruction. Muscles remain loose. There is no tension. There is no release. Nothing needs to happen. Breathing continues. In, out. No rhythm is followed. No counting occurs. The sound stays even. The room stays quiet. Nothing changes. Thought does not form. If something appears, it dissolves. It does not finish. It does not connect. It fades. The rain continues. It does not change direction. It does not pause. It does not hurry. It remains. The room remains dark. The air remains still. Awareness stays low. Almost absent. Not gone. Just quiet. The surface beneath you supports everything evenly. No adjustment is needed. Nothing shifts. Nothing tightens. The body remains heavy, not weighed down, just settled. Breathing continues. In, out. The sound stays the same. There is no signal. No alert. No instruction. Nothing to respond to. The rain continues. The room remains. The sound remains. Everything stays. Awareness does not search. It does not scan. It does not check. It stays quiet. Thought does not develop. It stops before starting. Nothing completes. Nothing begins. Time does not move. It stays. The rain continues. The sound remains even. The room remains unchanged. Breathing continues. In, out. Nothing interrupts. Nothing ends. Everything stays as it is. The sound continues. The room continues. The body continues resting. Awareness stays low. Quiet remains. Nothing changes. Nothing needs to change. The rain continues. It does not pause. It does not change. The sound stays even. There is no pattern to follow. No difference to notice. The room remains still. Nothing moves. Nothing responds. Breathing continues. In, out. No effort. No intention. The body remains settled. Nothing needs adjustment. The surface beneath you supports everything evenly. There is no shift. No tension. No release. Awareness stays low. It does not rise. It does not search. It stays quiet. The rain continues. The sound remains steady. Nothing interrupts. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. Time does not progress. It stays. The room remains dark. The air remains still. Everything remains where it is. Breathing continues. In, out. There is nothing to listen for. Nothing to notice. The sound exists, without asking for attention. It remains. Thought does not form. If it appears, it fades. It does not connect. It does not complete. It disappears before meaning. The rain continues. The sound remains unchanged. The body rests. Muscles remain loose. The jaw stays soft. The face remains still. Nothing pulls awareness. Nothing requires focus. The room holds everything, without intention, without care. Awareness becomes thin, almost absent. Not gone. Just quiet. The rain continues. It does not hurry. It does not slow. It stays. Breathing continues. In, out. No counting. No rhythm. No awareness required. The sound remains. The room remains. The body remains. Everything remains. Nothing changes. Nothing follows. Nothing needs to happen. The rain continues, unchanged. It feels distant now. Not because it has faded, but because there is no need to notice it. Sound and silence rest together, without separation. The room feels steady, as if it has settled into itself. Nothing presses. Nothing pulls. Breathing continues quietly. In, out. There is no awareness attached to it. The body rests without effort. Muscles remain loose, without instruction. There is no tension held anywhere. Nothing needs to release, because nothing is held. Awareness feels faint, almost transparent. Not gone. Just then. The room does not ask for presence. It does not react. The rain does not signal anything. It continues. Steady and indifferent. Time feels distant. No longer important. Moments do not separate. They blend. The sense of position softens. Up and down lose meaning. The body feels supported completely, without adjustment. The surface beneath you remains unchanged. Nothing shifts. Nothing tightens. The quiet feels deep, but not heavy. It does not close in. It simply stays. Thought does not form. If it appears, it dissolves, before shape. There is no beginning to notice. No ending to wait for. The rain remains present, but irrelevant. Sound exists, without requiring attention. Awareness stays low. It does not rise. It does not move. It rests. Breathing becomes softer, almost unnoticeable. In, out. No rhythm remains. No counting. No focus. The room holds everything evenly. Without care. Without intention. The dark remains consistent. Nothing changes within it. The rain continues. The sound remains even. Nothing interrupts. Nothing demands response. The body remains still. The mind remains quiet. Awareness thins further. almost disappearing. Not gone. Just quiet. There is no effort now. No observation. No control. Everything continues on its own. The rain outside, the room inside, the body resting. All remain. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. Nothing needs to happen. The rain continues, without asking to be heard. It remains present, but no longer important. The room feels settled, as if nothing has changed for a long time. There is no sense of waiting. No expectation. Breathing continues softly. In, out. There is no need to notice it. The body remains at rest, supported without effort. Nothing presses against the skin. Nothing pulls the muscles. Everything stays balanced. Awareness feels distant now. Not focused anywhere. It does not gather. It does not spread. It simply remains then. Thought does not return. If something appears, it fades, before forming shape. There is no story. No direction. The quiet holds steady, unchanged. Sound exists only as presence, not as information. The rain outside continues, steady and indifferent. Inside, the body remains still. Nothing shifts. Nothing tightens. The sense of time softens further. Moments do not separate. They blur together. The room does not react. The sound does not change. Everything continues on its own. Breathing becomes almost invisible. In, out. No rhythm remains to follow. No awareness required. The darkness feels even, without depth, without edge. The body rests completely. There is no effort left. No control. No attention. Everything stays. The rain continues. It remains steady. It does not change. You do not need to notice it. You do not need to listen. The sound exists, whether it is heard or not. The room remains still. Nothing moves. Nothing responds. Breathing continues. In, out. No effort. No instruction. No awareness required. The body rests completely. There is no position to maintain. No posture to correct. No comfort to search for. Everything is already settled. The surface beneath you supports everything evenly. No adjustment is needed. Nothing shifts. Nothing tightens. The rain continues. The sound remains even. Nothing interrupts. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. Time does not matter. It does not move forward. It does not call for attention. It simply passes, unnoticed. Awareness becomes faint. Not gone. Just distant. There is no need to stay present. There is no need to stay awake. You do not need to keep track of anything. The rain continues. The room remains. Breathing continues. In, out. Thought does not return. If it appears, it fades. It does not form meaning. It does not connect. It dissolves before it becomes anything. The mind does not need to do anything. Nothing needs solving. Nothing needs finishing. Nothing needs remembering. The sound remains steady. It does not signal the next moment. It does not mark time. It does not ask for attention. It simply continues. The room stays dark. The air stays still. The body stays supported. Everything stays. Awareness loosens further. It does not focus. It does not search. It does not check. It becomes thin, almost transparent. Breathing continues. In, out. No counting. No rhythm. No awareness. The body feels heavy. Not weighed down. Just resting. Muscles remain loose. The jaw remains soft. The face remains still. There is no expression to hold. There is no effort anywhere. The rain continues. The sound remains even. Nothing changes. Nothing needs to change. You can allow attention to fade completely. There is no need to hear every word. There is no need to follow any sentence. The sound can remain in the background. The room can remain in the background. Everything can remain without being noticed. Breathing continues on its own. In, out. The body rests on its own. The mind rests on its own. Awareness rests on its own. There is no control needed. No observation. No intention. The rain continues. The room remains still. The sound remains steady. Nothing interrupts. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. Thought does not return. If it appears, it fades. It disappears before meaning. It does not stay. It does not matter. The sense of self grows quiet. Not gone. Just distant. There is no need to hold on to it. No need to keep it clear. No need to keep it present. Everything can soften. Everything can blur. Everything can fade. The rain continues. Steady. Even. Unchanging. Breathing continues. In. Out. The body remains supported. The room remains still. The sound remains steady. Nothing requires attention. Nothing requires presence. Nothing requires wakefulness. Everything continues on its own. Everything stays.